Alright, so we stopped the last video after we optimized the mesh and exported the world mesh so that we can plug it into the game. And it had collision and was broken down appropriately. Now I have had some time to do some things while I was not able to record, so I'll just go over what I did here. I did decide that it would be cool to have a lake over here in the forest. So I just grabbed the faces here, really, and just moved them down. And went over the next ones and moved them down um, to try to make it as smooth as possible. And I know that there are rough edges here, but this is the bottom of a lake, so it's not really going to matter. I also fixed a bunch of UVs that I missed. And then I added this cave, and I did this for modders. All I did is I grabbed the face here, and then I extruded it out, and then tweaked it as I went along. Why I did this though is this little spot here. It shrinks down like this to make room for a cave entrance. So if anybody wanted to um, expand on Tython and reuse pieces of this map or whatever they decided to do, then that would give them a spot to add a cave entrance and a door to go to another cell. I also thought it would be funny because I love seeing the posts that people make dying by the sandworm. So I extruded this down and made a pit, and we're going to make a trap right there because I think that that would be fun. And that's really all that I did with the map. So the next thing that we need to do is the skybox going around it, like you see on Nar Shaddaa and Terrace, where there's tons of buildings and things off of the map. They make it seem so much more grand. Um, and that's what we want to do here. So we're just going to model some big rocks. So we'll do one here. This is going to go over here. So let's kind of set it where we want it. And then we're going to add some extrusions here, like that. Or some loop cuts. And then we're going to add some extrusions. So let's do something like that, and then we'll slowly get smaller here, like that. Then we'll do this side. This. Then we're going to go ahead and do the back as well. I'll show you why. Just a minute. Okay. So let's turn this thing into a mountain. So we want to try to give this thing some shape. Here, yeah. Yeah, that's good. That. Okay. Now let's do the top. Okay. So this is definitely the most interesting side. So we're going to take this bad boy, put him here, scale him up like that. And I have already done most of the skybox, so we're just going to unhide that. And as you can see, as you make more and more of these bad boys, then your skybox starts to take place. Let's see, we don't want. There we go. And you start to have, something interesting to look at outside the map. Like, I'm not going to put really anything on top of it. I did put this little guy here that I made for the Flesh Raider camp because it kind of looks like a cave. So, when you're looking at it from far away, gives it a little bit more interesting scenery, just something to look at. So we're going to place this one, we're going to flip it around, which is why we did both sides, because now we don't have to do another one. We're going to bring that up more. And then we want to come through here, and we actually want to delete all these faces that you're not going to see, right? Because that's just draw. It's adding to our draw that we don't want. Our GPU is having to try harder for things that really don't matter. I don't think we can see those two. Yeah. So looks like we might be able to see that. So keep that one. And then let's check all these. So we can see that, I think. That's the top of our map right there, so can't see that. All the rest of this is good. So we're just going to clean this up. And the bottom of it we don't need either, right? And there we go. There's one more. We can add this to this big mesh. This is all going to be one big mesh, and it won't have any collision on it. So when we export that, it won't. We don't have to worry about, it calculating collision. We can have this gigantic mesh, and it's really not going to affect anything, especially after we culled, half of all the faces on it, because we're only going to be able to see the front of it. So, not a big deal at all. But we will start to delete all this stuff. Looks like we're good there. Probably get away with all this. Yes, we can. Not gonna get away with that, but looks like we're not gonna be able to see any of this. No. Just remember, there's an invisible wall ceiling right there, so we can't actually even get this high. So let's delete all that. And then, again, this is an open Morrowind, right? So we really don't have to worry if we don't get all of it. It's not going to be that big of a deal. Okay, so that looks good. So we have our skybox now, which is just us sitting here and making a bunch of rocks, scaling them up real big, and then mashing them all together, and then deleting all the faces that we can't see from, from the ground, or even from jumping. We're not going to be able to see any of the missing faces there. So, but I mean, look at how much this is adding for your scene here. Let's get down here. Let's sit on top of this, right? This is the meditation site. So we're going to be sitting right up on here. We can actually walk using Blender. So we're walking around, and we can see all these gigantic pieces of this mountain. And if we take it out, then, this is what we're looking at now. So it definitely makes a big difference in our map. So we're going to get rid of that for now, so we don't have to look at it. It's not in the way. Very, very simple thing to do. Like I said, you're just modeling a bunch of rocks, or if your planet has buildings, then you model a bunch of buildings, and then you stick them all around the map. And these things are going, see, underneath even, where you can see like that big rock over there is floating, but it's buried behind there, so you'll never even know it's floating. The players will never know. And then you stick them all in, you combine them all into one mesh, and you have your collision node, but you don't put anything in it. Therefore, when you export it, there won't be any collision. And when we export, we can actually go ahead and export this. Let's do it. So we have our collision node and our skybox activated. We're going to go ahead, and this is going to be, I think we had it named World Tython. So this is going to be World Skybox. And that's it. Skybox is done. The next thing that I would do is all your big stuff, right? Because when you have these big grand scenes like this, and you just have a bunch of itty bitty trees everywhere, then it looks off. So what you can do, because in the construction set, it's only going to let you scale these trees either double their size or half their size. So we want to have, trees. We can import it directly from the Morrowind BSA, or the Tribunal or Blood Moon BSA, or we can make our own and import them like I did with this. This is just a Morrowind tree that I retextured the bark on. So let's go ahead and we're going to put it in here. We'll place it right about there. Right. Again, this is just a Morrowind tree. The leaves are pink because we don't have the textures in our Starwind folder because they are in the Morrowind BSA, which Starwind requires, so it's going to be okay. If I were to scale this by 1.5 or by 2, that's as big as Morrowind's going to let it be. That's probably as big as we're going to want this to be. So we can sit here and export all these trees, make them as big as we want. Like in the forest, I've got some that'll be 3 times the size, maybe 3.5 times the size. And you're not going to be able to do that in the construction set unless you make it an activator and attach a script to it, which is going to affect performance. So this is the best way to do it. Now, you know how to import NIF files. You just keep importing all your trees and get them where you want. And then, after you're done doing that, then you're going to have a bunch of trees. Okay? In this case, all of these trees are much larger than you would think. I know that we scaled this one by 2, and it's this fucking huge tree, which looking at it now, it's way too big. Probably like that is better. Now, these trees are, believe it or not, huge. This tree here is double the scale of a blood moon tree. This tree is 4 times the scale of a blood moon tree. So they're very, very, very large. What we're going to do with them now, in order to optimize them, because that's really the point here, is we want to put them all in this one big mesh so that when we're rendering it in the game, we're only having to draw these textures and these this geometry once instead of having to draw all these textures 20 times. We're still going to place trees like we normally would in the construction set, but with these big objects, we're going to optimize them first. And how we're going to do that is we're going to take this collision node and we're going to take all these collisions nodes. Let's hide the map because we're not going to need that right now. And we're actually going to take this collision node and we're going to combine it with this collision node, right? So then we have these two are combined. Then we're going to combine it with this collision node. We're going to bind, I mean not collision node, but yes, actually I'm fucking up. We're going to take, you gotta open these one more time. This collision mesh, this tri-shape with this one. We're going to combine these two, and we have this combined object. And we're going to come up. You can't combine it with the node. You have to combine it with the actual tri-mesh. So that's why I'm having to open these. We're going to open this, and we're going to combine all of these. And then we're going to stick them inside our collision mesh as one big tri-shape. Shit. There we go. Now you really don't want to miss any here, because if you miss one, then your player is just going to be able to walk through that tree, because it won't have collision on it. We have a lot of trees here, so we may actually have to come back and double, triple check that we got them all. I believe that's it. Yeah, looks like we got all of them. So we have all of our collisions here. We're going to apply all transforms. See, that's not going to work. We're just going to make a cube. We're going to throw this cube in here, and then we're going to take the collisions. We're going to attach it to the cube, then we're going to delete the cube. Ta-da! Now, let's make sure. Yeah. Groovy. So we have all of our collision, and we have all of our trees. And we can actually probably go through here and delete these nodes because we don't need them anymore. And you can do this with as many pieces of the scene as you want to. Like if you look at Kashyyyk, it's made up of many different scene pieces that make up that gigantic cell, that gigantic map that you're looking at. It's made out of tons of these big scene pieces that are all put together to make up what you're looking at. And the majority of it doesn't have collision, so that's why the performance is so good on the new Kashyyyk, because you've got tons of things to look at, but you have very little actually calculating for collision, because if you jump off, you're going to die. So we didn't really have to worry about it. And it's kind of the same thing here. All the big stuff you're looking at is verticality, way up basically in the sky, because you can't jump that high. And it's not going to affect our performance here. But we have all of our map hidden, so we're going to hide it all again. And then we're going to name this World Trees. We're going to export it. So we have now our trees, our skybox, and our map, and you can see how this is coming together even before we even touch the construction set. We already have a decent planet to run around on. It's got some spots we can throw some caves in. It's got some foliage. Doesn't have any flora you can pick up or anything yet, but it's got quite a bit here. We could do the same thing with rocks and boulders, which is something we'll probably come back and do once we put this together. Let's go ahead and open the construction set and put it in there and test it. And you can see how I'm actually going to put together these scene pieces as well. Set pieces. Not sure what you want to call them. This is going to be a brand new ESP. We haven't started making it yet. We're going to go to interior cell and we're going to name this Tython meditation site. We're going to behave this like an exterior. We use the Ascadian Isles region. I'm sure we want it to rain here, so that'll be good. Then we're going to create a new static, and we're going to call it Tython World. or we'll call it SW Tython world. I'm going to add the art file. We have a lot of things that I've actually modeled for this. But I'm not going to record modeling all the little bitty stuff. SW Tython sky. Skybox. And then I'll make another one, SW Tython trees. Damn it. Tython trees. So let's place one, right? We've got our sky, we've got our world, we've got our trees. There's our sky. And remember, we exported all these together. So now we have our sky. Oops, we're going to need this. We've got our trees. Let's go ahead and open these up. And we can actually take the coordinates and copy and paste them over, and they will just fall into place. And we have our world. Let's take that. And now, if we go to our world, which we're having trouble viewing for some reason. There we go. It's because it's humongous and we're upside down. Maybe. Looks like we're having some pretty fucking major issues. From what I can tell, it looks like all of the ground normals are flipped. Oh Lord. That's okay, we can fix that. Go into Blender. We will import world Tython. And we're going to delete this, we're going to hide the collision, and then, well that's pretty crazy. Let's take everything and recalculate it. Let's take everything and just flip it. Okay. We're looking right now. Looks like we're still messing up here. Man, that really got messed up. I've been having some serious problems with my exporter, and I think it's probably because my Blender is probably quite a bit out of date now. It's probably exactly what the problem is. Make sure we're not messing with anything that's correct. So let's flip all these. And everything looks good. Maybe. I don't know. There's definitely some issues we're having with these normals wanting to be in the opposite directions. Just based on the issues we're having on these vertexes, you can see how it looks like there's shadows. I'm not sure why it's doing that, but As long as it's working, I really don't care. So, that usually means that there are adjacent faces that are having normals that are facing the wrong direction, like right here. Those need to be flipped around. Looks like this needs to be flipped here. Wow, man, that really got messed up, didn't it? It's crazy. Crazy stuff. Okay. Yeah, here we go. Flip that around. As far as I can tell, it's all there. Let's test it in game. That's all we can do. So let's take it. We're going to re-export this. And world. Tython. Okay. Looks like we missed a spot right there. Where is that? That's gonna be... should be right here. Should be that. Yeah. What the fuck over? What are you doing, boy? Wait a minute, did I? No, I didn't. Let's make sure that I didn't go over the trees. No, I didn't. And I did it again. So there's gotta be something up on my exporter. Well, fuck. Oh well. Dumbass, and I put the trees in there. That's insane. And it doesn't look like... yeah, it is. I mean... what a bug. I'm telling you. Is it because... yeah, it is. It's because I did it from the wrong one. Okay. Wow. I'm an idiot. Okay. So... was this one? Is that face? There she is. Flip. I thought saw another one. Okay, let's try this out. Tython. Okay. There's that one over there. Sure looks like it to me. So here, yes. You see what I mean by like, I was talking before about how the mesh will get triangulated, and it was going to be a pain to work with if you have to re-import it. That's what I mean. You see how like all this was like one piece before. This was just one solid face before, and this was, I think, three. I think this was one, and this was one, and it's triangulated all of these pieces, and that's how the game actually reads it. Right? It doesn't read in squares; it reads in triangles. So let's fix that. That's got to be the last one. Let's try this again. Okay. So it looks like our collision is all in place. No collision on the outside. Our trees all have collision. Everything looks good. Our ground looks like it might be having issues with collision. Nope. Nope, it's there. Okay. There are bugs in 3D models just as much as there are bugs in code. It is a process for sure. So let's name this Way of the Melody. So I am going to pause this real quick, move some files around, and then we will test it in game. Okay. I think we named that Tython meditation site. So we definitely need more trees, more line of sight breakers, and I think we're going to need a lot of rocks too. We might also want to add some baked lighting in to the to these rocks. We may want to add a detail texture to it, but this is really good. Everything looks to be working. All the collision seems to be working. And it is fairly large. I am glad we did those little I don't know what you want to call those, protrusions in the mountains going around here too. This looks very nice. And it doesn't not look like Dantooine. It looks like a whole new area, so that's what we wanted here. Yeah, see all that? I don't want to be able to just look across and see everything. We need some more line of sight breakers. This isn't Tatooine. We shouldn't be able to just look across it like it's some giant desert. Let's get some water in here real quick. And then we're going to have to, just going to take some trial and error to get this right. But and this is all going to be based on our river here. So world interior cell. it's treated as an exterior, so the water is just going to be here. We're going to have to move everything at once. See if we can grab it all together. Yes, we can. Okay, so that makes this actually even harder to do, but that's okay. It's just a pain to move the camera with these big old pieces like this. I really want to be right here. So let's move her down. Shall we hit water? I think that's going to be good. Might be able to get away with going a little bit further down. No, it's going to be like right there. See, our little lake over there is not deep enough, and that is not going to work. Because I wanted that to be a lake. And this river may not be deep enough either. So we may have to do... Let's go one more down real quick. Let's see. We're flooding over into some of these spots. It's just not going to work for us. So... let's see how deep this is. A lot of trial and error to get these things right, but... CNC... Tython meditation site. TCO. Oh yeah, I forgot. See, that's pretty good. It can actually be a little bit deeper, honestly. So I think what we'll do is... let's swim over here and look at all these. See, this one's really good. I don't mind this at all. This could be a little less flat, but it's okay. This one's good. I guess I don't really mind these flooded spots. They're actually not bad in game. They look worse in the construction set. But we're going to have to do a lot of trial and error and test a whole bunch here to get this just right. And we're going to have to mess with that lake now. Because I made it and I want it now. And we're not going to just give in and give it up. We're going to make it. So, how deep does this need to be? If that is not good enough. That is the question. So, you, big boy, you can go away. You can go away. You can go away. I don't think it's going to matter because I think, yeah, all these are going to be in the way. The question is, move this down. Nope, we got everything here. Okay, so we need to figure out how we're going to go about doing this. All of this needs to be lower. Significantly, really. Looks like we missed something there. Let's do it like this. Significantly, so let's bring it down. And we're making sure to grab all the collision in here too, right? We want to grab everything. Let's bring it down to like right. Fuck. Yeah. It's got to be like right there. And then we're going to have to bring down all of this as well. This is going to be, it's going to kind of suck. It's going to really affect. I didn't realize how high this was. Let's leave that corner off for a moment. Test that out and see how that looks. So we've brought it down significantly. There's a few things we're going to have to do now. One of the grass looks like it's okay. Doesn't look like we're going to have to really mess with the UV, surprisingly. Let's get rid of the collision for now. Yeah, grass looks fine. What we need to see now is the trees, because this was going to be a big forest, right? So we should have a bunch of trees here. So let's import our trees. We're going to have some floating. Yeah. So we're going to have to fix that. So we need to take this guy here. Which is going to be this one. And we need this part of the collision mesh. So let's grab all of that. And we're going to bring this guy over and down. And then we're going to take this guy. And this part of the collision. And we're going to take this big boy. We're going to bring him. Why don't we move him like right here? Okay. And this one's floating just a tad. Let's just move the collision down. Because it looks like the mesh is not floating. Then we're going to take this guy. And the collision there. Take him. We're going to move him like right there. It looks like we missed some stuff here. Did we not grab the right one? We need all of this. And this. And this one's floating, and that one's floating. So let's take you. And the collision here. We're going to move you, big fella, right there. Then this one. Collision. Take all of you. Move you here. Okay. So that should take care of all of our big trees. So let's go ahead and we're going to hide this. Bring our collision back. We're going to export our world. Oh, no, we're not. We gotta fix this. This has to be named collision. It's case sensitive. So make sure that's named right. Let's export this one more time. Then we're just gonna delete all this. Bring this back. Make sure collision's named appropriately. And then we're going to re-export the trees. We're going to check it out in game, make sure nothing broke. Alright, our trees are moved around and we've got a big lake. Okay. Let's test that out in game real quick. Make sure everything is good, and then if it is, then we'll move forward. Okay. So I did model, I did retexture some trees to have new, or not new, but different bark. So we'll probably use some of that too. Are you freaking kidding me? This is all we got? Are you serious? What the heck, man? Come on, there's no way. There's no way. That's gotta be low enough. Okay. Where are we looking? Looking right here. So if we won't have to move the trees around again if we make a loop cut here and then only reduce the two inner spots. So let's do that. Let's come back here. Can we grab our, yes. So what we want to do now is we want to bring our collision back. Lord. The question is going to be, can I take this, I'm trying to grab the collision. Can I grab all of this? Is that going to have everything? Yes. Yes, it is. Yes. So can I try quads without messing up the UV? And the answer is yes. So what I need to do now is I need to take each of these pieces. I need to take this. What the fuck? There we go. And I actually want to loop cut this. God, this is going to be terrible. I'm going to have to redo the collision. That's all there is to it. So, it's just fucking great. What if I... Okay. We're going to do this instead. Bring this way down. And we're going to take this, bring it down. This is really stretching out our grass here. So, we may need to redo the UVs on that. But I mean, we just brought that down a lot. So, can I take this? I feel like I can't. I feel like if I move this down, maybe I can move it down just a tad and hope that it doesn't mess with those stupid trees. Little Tython. See, it shows in the construction set that there's going to be way more water than there really is. Because it showed that much last time. And if one of those trees is a little bit in the water, then you know what? That's just the way it is. I'm going to have to take this, put that around. Okay, let's go make sure this works. Kinda has like a Blood Gulch vibe from like Halo. I'm thinking that this did not update because that's exactly the same as it was before, and we just brought that down like dramatically. Where are we exporting this to? Ooh, that's why. I'm a fool. I am a fool. I'm not. Placing the correct files. Okay, let's go make sure we don't have a big mess here. And we don't. We have a nice lake with a tree inside of it. And you know what? It's floating. Fantastic. But we can fix that real quick. What we'll do is that's gonna be in the edge. Facing that. What's that gonna work? Fuck. I think if we just take these two faces and pull them up, these two vertices, we can go ahead and take this one for safe measure. And we export this here. And then we'll take these, we'll replace the files. And then last test. Because we got this. Looks good. I'm happy with that. Okay. So we've got this big old lake we can play around with. We'll throw a bunch of rocks and stuff in there. What do we need on this map? I'm going to make another little forest over there with smaller trees. Using a different texture. Some of them are going to be activators because we're going to change things up on this planet as we go through. So this planet is not like it's mostly just for a quest line, kind of like Gamorr would be, or M478 would be. But I want to make this where this planet will change as the quest line progresses, and you will want to what the fuck happened here? You will want to come back and experience new content as the quest line progresses. So that's what we're going to do after we fix these UVs. Because for some reason they decided that they were going to just do their own thing. because that's what happens. Let's go ahead and grab these guys. And I just don't understand why everything is being so... There we go. Something happened here too, you see that? What in the world? Okay, I don't even care. We're just gonna fix this real quick. And then let's just get out of this. Let's go back to the construction set and let's start placing some stuff. So, the first thing I want to place is the ship. So I made a new ship. And we're going to start kind of making our little planet here. This is going to be, I think, a static. So we'll call this Tython ship. Little compact version of the ship model here. Okay, so we're going to rotate this guy on the X and Y. Oops. Try to get him somewhat straight. There we go. Okay, so we've got our little ship. Throw him in there. And then let's place some rocks. So we got a ton of rocks. SW Tython rocks 1. So we're gonna have 3 of these. SW Tython rocks. We're gonna have Tython rocks. If we just change the ID, it will make a new one. So Tython rocks 2. And Tython rocks 3. In this first area you come in, I want to be like super rocky. So I just retextured a bunch of rocks from Morrowind that we can use. Wow, this is gonna be a giant pain in the butt, isn't it? There we go. There we go. That we can use that are gonna match. Right? They're gonna match the texture pack we've got going on here. Man, these are just gonna be fighting me, aren't they? So I really want to try and make this. I don't know what they use this for in Morrowind because, like, look at the ridiculous difference here in where these guys are elevation wise. It seems like there's always going to be a rock hiding underneath the ground, no matter what we do. It is ridiculous. Okay, so do like that, and then probably place another one of these right here. and then we're going to stop using that one because that's terrible. If I have to make more, I'll make more, but no, we're not going to sit here and do that. But I really like these clustered rocks. I think they're really nice. It'll save us a lot of time when we set this map up. Is this the same damn one as this one? No. So, are these the same ones? Yes. So it looks like 3 and 2 might be the same rocks. Maybe not. Nope, they're not. Okay. Good. And this is probably the most time-consuming part of making a planet is decorating it. It is a very long and tedious process. So what I think I'm going to do is, where are we at on this? We're at an hour? I thought we were longer than that. Okay, so we may have time to do quite a bit then. So let's go ahead and do rock singular. And we're going to add, son of a bitch, there we go. Rock 1. We have 6 rocks, so let's just go ahead and add all of them. 2. And you know, a lot of this process is the same. Let's say you wanted to add on to Terrace, for instance. Terrace has a tile set that you can use to make more areas, interior and exterior. It has tile sets, which makes it very easy to add on to it. A lot of the planets or like areas within the planets have tile sets that you can use, and you don't have to sit here and make all these things. You can just reuse them. You can even retexture them very easily in order to be able to create new things here. So you see what I mean by how I could do this in Blender and just make it all one big piece, because look at all these reference IDs, or these references. Boom, 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 boom. As we add in more trees and more rocks, they're just going to keep piling up. So there is a very big benefit to consolidating them within Blender and then just throwing them in the game. Let's see. Rock 1. I'm going to try to use use up as many of these as we can get away with. But they all come with their own pros and cons, right? So with these gigantic meshes, they can only have so many lights affect them before you start running into issues where, that's why there's not a lot of lighting in Starwind, and it's because the way these giant meshes work, they can only have each mesh can only have a few different lights affected. So after you use a few, that's it. That's all you've got. You can put as many as you want, but they're not all going to work. Let's make this one big rock, and let's throw it here for some line of sight. And we'll throw one more. These big boys up here. There we go. Maybe turn it. Oops. Rock 3. Yeah. And this area is really coming together now. It can be easier, though. I mean, it really can be a lot easier to figure out what it needs for flavor, like with what we're doing right now in the construction set rather than in Blender. So there is that. When you're in the game, when you're in here and you're really digging around the map and you're not worrying about all the little details of Blender, then it does help quite a bit. And I really feel like when you're throwing things together in the construction set, you're really just kit bashing stuff. And there's a lot of good that can come out of that. It really is. Because this is where you get a whole different level of creativity. Let's try to make that less symmetrical. Okay. So now if we come into here and we check out our little 4 kilobyte mod, we'll see that it's really coming together. In all these different areas that we gave these different textured grass, you know, we can really add the decor of the map to really reflect the ground. And it's gonna be really nice when we're done. We've got some good line of sight blockers here. Lots of rocks. This was just empty, barren. Nothing here before. We still haven't even placed like flora containers that you can gather ingredients from. I could use one more big rock like right here. But we're going to place some over there too. All along that area. So that's what we may do there. But yeah, this is turning out really nice. And I'm worried less now about adding in the baked lighting to the rocks now that there's more of them. I think once we have more trees in here and we have all of our little pieces of detail, it's really all gonna come together. We could even add some trees up there if we wanted to. Yeah, this is good. Okay, very happy with that. So let's finish this area off. We have Tython tree. We got a bunch of trees. And some of these trees are, like these tree sick ones, are going to be used like way later during the quest line. We're not going to worry about that because that's going to involve scripting. And I don't think it's time in this YouTube series to get into scripting yet. I would like to assume that if you're sitting here watching 2-hour-long videos, that you have watched my other shorter videos that explain the basics regarding, you know, the construction set and quest making and scripting and things like that. So let's look at these trees. I don't actually know what else here, but I know these have, yeah, perfect. So I had like a little tree there. Okay, another one of these guys, like right over here where I was talking about. Just rotate it in a different direction, make it bigger. Another one. Go over here. And what else do we got? So that's going to be this one. What about this guy? Oh yeah, I forgot about this one. I think we may make that a flora piece. These glow in the dark. So I think these would be really cool. So this is going to be Tython tree 3. So I think we'll actually go ahead. We're gonna delete this. And let's go to containers. This is going to be SW Tython tree flora. I'm going to have a name for this thing. Let's call it glow stalk. Okay, very creative here. It's going to be an organic container because it's going to respawn the ingredients inside of it. SW glow. No. SW, right? Or did we just name it glow stalk? What the fuck? SW tree. Tython tree flora. Okay. Oh, we didn't add an art file. Whoops. So this is going to be tree 3. So and I didn't make like the actual ingredient that it's going to have available to us, but that's okay. It's going to add that like alien level of detail. And I do think that like flora ingredients, where people are trying to gather alchemy ingredients, I think it distracts people from all the little detail, which is good because then folks are not as critical and they'll appreciate what detail is there more than they normally would. So let's make this one a little smaller, maybe. They're going to be easily spotted because they glow. And I think we'll add one more, like way over here. Where is it? There it is. Yeah. Cool. So back to the trees. What I did not make is ground cover. Like, you know, the tiny little stalks on Kashyyyk that cover the ground. Those took me weeks to implement because you have to sit here, like with the trees, where you're going to make sure they're not floating. This ground isn't flat, so you have to go through and individually place all those little things to make sure that they're not floating or they're not so far on the ground that they're pointless to even be there. Um, that does take quite a bit of time. So that's like that tree there. So why don't we move this here? Rotate it like that. Maybe even make it like angled. And then we'll place this big boy right here where we were talking about breaking some line of sight. Like that. Cool. So I think that will do it for trees and rocks and flora in the spot. So let's go ahead and right. So I think that everyone should be able to pretty much get the idea of what I'm doing here. I'm just decorating the area with static objects right now. So I'm going to pause it real quick and I'm going to put down a bunch of trees and rocks and just kind of decorate the map to give it a little more detail. And then I will unpause it. That way we're not going to waste a bunch of time while you just sit here and watch me place rocks and trees. Okay, so I have placed a whole bunch of rocks and trees. Been doing it for an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Let's go see how it looks. I think we started off over there last time, so it's looking like a forest to me. I did not place these floor containers around. I will get to that. I think we're also going to have to do a bunch of shrubs We might need to do that in Blender though, because we do have a lot of references in this cell now. We may need some other like alien looking flora as well. Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking like a forest. Okay. We got a little cave entrance set up over there. I didn't do too much of the water. I threw some rocks in it, but haven't gotten around to that yet. Yeah, I think this is looking pretty good. And even without like, I mean, this is like bare basic decoration for this map, right? Even with it just being very basic, I mean, there's a lot of character to these different areas. You know, you can place some certain sequences or maybe like a little quest or something, and all these areas are very notably different. Oh, that's floating a little bit. I don't think we really have any pine woods on any other planet either, so it's a nice mix up. I think there's a few pine trees on Dathomir, but for the most part, not like this. Yeah, I think we're looking pretty good though. And this is the goal, right? This is the meditation side. So when we finally get up to here, I think it looks pretty epic. So, yeah, it's real nice. So at this point, I think it's safe to back off from decorating until we get the rest of the map in, because we're going to need certain pieces for the quests and things like that. We're going to put a Flesh Raider camp in here. That won't activate until the quest line is completed. Then when you come to Tython, there's like actually stuff to do. That's different, right? It gives you still have a planet to explore and do content on, even though the little faction quest line is done. So I think that that's going to be real important in order to say, hey, look, this adds, this new planet and its content. Then we need to have that separate from the quest line, I think. But I mean, so much more can be added. Like we have a couple fallen trees, but we could add more to that. We can add some more pieces of broken wood in here. We can even make one an activator and have like a smaller piece float up and down in the water. We can do a lot with this. So, let's go ahead and start. Start making this. So, I want to go ahead and we're going to set up our journal indexes real quick. We're going to call this SW Bard Journal. And this is going to be called The Way of the Melody. That'll be the quest name. So we are trying to get it pulled up on my phone. I've already got this kind of set up here, so okay. So we've got a pretty decent quest line. We just need to kind of set it up, and this is not set in stone, but it's a good draft. So I have this could be 5. 10. Hmm. Okay, so we're looking at 70. We're looking at notepad. SW bar journ greater than equal to 70 is for final act. So let's go ahead, and now that that is made, we can create some activators. So we're going to make the Flesh Raider base activators and not statics, because we're going to put a script on them that tells them, or we're going to put a script on the map that says this object cannot be enabled until we've reached this stage of the quest line. So SW Tython Raider Tower. We're not going to give it a name because then you'll be able to see it. So we need to go ahead and save all these IDs. And this is going to be SW Barn Flash Camp Out. SW Tython Raider Tower. Raider Tent. And these are just Ashlander and Velothi assets from Morrowind that are retextured. But I think they're retextured fairly well. Let's grab the tower. That is not going to work like I thought it was going to. But that's okay. We can do it like right here, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, it works pretty well. Okay, it's floating just a tad there. So that's not gonna work. Fuck. I need. It's okay. We can grab one of these little guys. Stick it right there. And then we can even go up like that. And maybe do like something like this. We have that tower. Then we're gonna do like got a tent. We're gonna have tent. This is going to be tint 2. Because we need to be able to reference each one of these individually. I think we'll do like one more up here. One more over here. We accidentally clicked the tree. We did. This will be tint. Wow, I don't know why it's lagging like that. Tint 3. And we'll do. Where's the other one right here? Maybe we'll do the other one like right over here. Tint 4. Yeah, it looks pretty Star Warsy to me. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll take a see if we can find like yeah, like under S, one of these, and then we will place this bad boy underneath the ground here. And we're going to name him just a Tython manager. And we're going to create a new script that says begin SW Tython management, and if get journal index SW bard journ is less than 70, and if disable. And we really only want to do this once, so let's do short act 3 check. If act 3 check is less than 1, act 3 check is equal to 1. I think that'll work. Equal 3 check. I think Morrowind is just set this to Lord have mercy, Jesus. Let's do this real quick. Set that to Tython management. SW Tython. We want to open all these. Just persist. Just persist. References persist. I haven't written Morrowind scripts in months, so I'm a little rusty. Been working in C#, and it is different, much different. Okay, so it looks like we're not getting any more errors there. If get journal index sw bar journ is greater than equal to 70, and if act 3 check is less than 2, and if set act 3 check to 2, okay, so now we should, and I did this so that it's not constantly firing and trying to enable these or disable these over and over and over and over again. We don't want it to do that. We just want it to do it one time. So we have our checks. Those are going to enable and disable appropriately, or should, I should say. I did make a little roadmap here for what we're going to do here. We have our landing site, which is where we place the, right here, where we place the ship. We're going to put a little Jedi Padawan, because we are on Tython, so we'll have a little concurrence with him as we do little quests with him. I think we're going to make that little cave over here a Flesh Raider cave. I don't know what the hell I was doing with this. It doesn't matter. There's the grotto dungeon. It's just a dungeon. Nothing special. The dying trees is a little quest that's going to happen as we come through here. Help him on his little quest. There's going to be a wounded Flesh Raider, I think, over here that we'll make turn into a companion. And then, of course, the meditation site. And then later on in the quest, when we come back to go to the Crystal Cave, because this is a complete mockery of the Jedi, we're going to get a harmonic crystal to craft our instrument for the path that we choose. Then our little Padawan is going to come back. He'll be here, and there'll be some Tythonian droids, which are those disc-shaped heads that I made in the last update for the droids. Those are based on the Tythonian droids. So we can reuse those here, and we'll go kill some of those. Then when it's all over with and we come back, then that Flesh Raider camp that we set up, we'll have a bunch of NPCs spawn, and then there's a new creature that I made, the DR03, which is pretty cool. He'll turn into a follower if you do that. It won't be a quest. It'll just be, oh, you found the part, you brought it, you used it on the droid. Boom. It's fixed. Here's your new follower. It'll be fairly obvious what you need to do. I hope. I would think so anyway. But I think that... Where are we at? We're at an hour and 51 minutes. I think that this is good for this video. I think that off the recordings, I will go ahead and finish decorating everything. I may do the ground cover in Blender. If I do, it'll be the exact same way I did the trees, except there won't be any collision for the ground cover. I probably won't, though. I'll probably just throw some shrubs around, because the way we did this, it's not going to be consistent. The foliage isn't. And I may make some new containers and put them around as well. But I'm not going to. I'll wait to record again to do like quests and things like that. And I may even rename the next videos and not be a planet making walkthrough, because we're pretty much done with that, right? We've made the planet here. You can see the planet in the game. You can walk around. There's trees and rocks everywhere now. You can pick up some flora. If we throw any type of ingredient or item into that container, it can be picked up. We've set some other things that are going to appear at certain quest stages. I mean, with this knowledge, and if you watch the other videos that I made where I teach you how to make quests and basic scripting, then that's it. You've got everything you need here to make your own planet. I mean, this is essentially the planet, right? It just needs to be filled with content at this point. Um, but I'm going to keep recording as I make this mod, and when I make the faction, I will. I'll be recording that as well so that people can learn how to make their own faction and things like that. I think that this mod is going to be a very good learning experience for anyone who wants to learn this stuff. But I hope you learned something here. Um, if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.